Breaking news into First Take this morning. After 15 years in the league, Lamarcus Aldridge announced he is retiring from the NBA, writing on social media that he played his last game on April 10th with an irregular heartbeat. Aldridge saying in a statement, quote, "Though I'm better now, when I felt my heart that night, I was still one of the scariest things I've experienced." I just want to add, he's been previously diagnosed with Wilf-Parkinson-White syndrome, and he's undergone multiple ablation procedures since the 06-07 season. He'll finish his career with 7 All-Star appearances. And gentlemen, obviously this is surprising news because he just joined the Nets and was looking to get a ring this season. Stephen A., your reaction to Lamarcus Aldridge retiring?
Well, certainly when I was critical of these guys not playing in games, particularly last night, I certainly had no idea of an irregular heartbeat. So God bless him and his family. I'm glad that he's safe. I'm glad that he's okay. And clearly he's making the right decision, because what he's saying is it's scared the living hell out of him in terms of, how his heart was pumping the other night. And it was, with the irregularity that obviously he's alluding to, it scared him so much that that's not something he wants to experience again. And usually when people are feeling that way, particularly as it pertains to the heart, they usually equate it with having a near-death experience. And so he talked about putting his family first now, as opposed to basketball, because he spent 15 years putting his basketball first. I remember his 2 years in Portland from 2013 to 2015. Obviously, he spent a lot more time than that there, but those 2 particular years when he was averaging 23 a game, he was big time and considered one of the key ingredients or one of the key guys out there that can make some things happen when he ultimately went to San Antonio. But the game has changed so much that obviously it's affected his potency, because it's a guard-oriented game. And Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and those boys has just changed the trajectory of the game. Things have changed. So, again, he's not what he used to be. We understand it, even though he could still play. He was a damn good player, and that's what we will remember him as. And he was a good guy as well. I mean, you didn't run across anybody that really had anything negative to say about him as a person. So you got to give credit where credit's due. Not that that matters, because sometimes people lie and things of that nature. And they excoriate folks that don't deserve to be excoriated. But in his case, you're not going to find anybody doing that. He was well respected and well liked throughout the league. So I'm just glad he's safe and sound, and he gets to go on with his life and look forward to his life after basketball. I'm just happy that he's okay.
Yeah, Lamarcus Aldridge, the main thing is that he's not putting himself in extra jeopardy. And that's good. He had an excellent career as an excellent player. Not just a 7-time All-Star, Stephen A. and Molly, 2-time All-NBA second team, 3-time All-NBA third team. That's 5 selections altogether, All-NBA first, second, or third team. And that's really quite excellent. And the only reason that I hesitate to say he was a great player is really not to do with him as much as it has to do with Stephen A., as you mentioned, the game changing during his career. Lamarcus Aldridge would have been even better in almost any other era. Even in this one, he was totally excellent, 7-time All-Star. But in any other one, he'd have been even better. And it's a shame that a guy who didn't get to win a championship was on a team where, if healthy, probably would have gotten his ring this year, but obviously has a serious condition that he needs to pay attention to. And as you said, Stephen A., wish the best to Lamarcus Aldridge and his family. And the good news is he made this decision instead of further jeopardizing his health. Good for him, and it was a tremendous career.
Yep. All the best to him and his family. And he said at the end of the statement, you never know when something is going to end, so make sure you enjoy it to the fullest. I think we've all learned that this year, and he certainly did. He had an incredible career. And putting health and family first seems to be the right decision, and he's just 35. He's got his whole life ahead of him. In 2 weeks, LeBron in 3. Now, let's see how the purple and gold are currently faring in the West. So since AD's injury, the Lakers have treaded water at 12-13. They are in 5th place at 33-20. The Jazz, Suns, Clips, Nuggets are all ahead of the defending champs. Max Kellerman, how will AD and LeBron's injuries impact the stretch run and the playoffs, sir?
Assuming they come back healthy, it's going to help them, I think. because of the added responsibilities that role players have. Look, Talen Horton-Tucker, who played well again, he's valued throughout the league. The reason the Lakers didn't make deadline deal was because in order to match salaries, other teams had to take back a lot of players they didn't want, and then what they really wanted was Talen Horton-Tucker, and the Lakers like, nah, it's good, we're going to keep him. So he's seen more kind of dimensions to his game. He's been able to display them and to work on them than he ordinarily would have to were LeBron and AD playing. And we've seen, obviously, Drummond, who's, you knew he could walk in on a team that needed offense and give you 20 and 10 or 20 and 15 even. And the role players just generally are able to show extra dimensions to their game. So if called upon in the moment of truth, they should be more comfortable doing that. I think that certainly helps the Lakers. And then there's the rest that LeBron is getting right now. Not to mention AD, but LeBron in particular. When does this man ever have an offseason? He's in the finals every year. So, while other players get to go on vacation, LeBron has more intensity. Every minute is not created equal. The minutes you play at the end of a long season in a high-pressured situation is going to be more taxing, more draining. And this man does that every year for a million years now. Now he gets a nice, long rest. And finally, Stephen A., I'll say, when you look at the standings in the West, even if the Lakers were the 10th seed, and they've been treading water, they've been just about 500 since LeBron went down, meaning no LeBron, no AD, they're winning just about as much as they're losing. But even if they're the 10th seed, you think they're going to lose a play-in game or tournament when they have LeBron and AD to the 9 or 8 seed in the West? No, that ain't going to happen. And then, now they have a tougher schedule. Well, they lose a home game in the playoffs if someone can take them 7 games. But you're going to have to beat a bunch of nasty teams to begin with. Who do you want first? Does it really matter? You got the Mavs, the Blazers, the Nuggets, Clippers, Suns, Jazz. They're all tough. You're going to have to play at least 2 of them, if not 3, to get out of the West. I think in the long run, provided they're healthy, this actually helps the Lakers.
Well, there's nothing to talk about provided they're healthy, because if they're healthy, they have 2 of the top 5 players on the planet in Anthony Davis and LeBron James. I am not concerned at all about LeBron James. And he is the one player in this league that, take as much time as you need. I have nothing to say. Considering the level of success that he continuously puts forth, plus his willingness to play, the fact that he shows up, that regular season games matter, and he doesn't like to miss games, and he has a proven history to validate that, I don't give a damn if LeBron is healthy and decides to take a month off. It means nothing to me. He's earned it. Okay, I don't think anybody else in the league has earned that as much as him. Let me get that out the way. Anthony Davis, that's a different matter, because Anthony Davis's durability is the question mark here. Anthony Davis healthy, there's not much to worry about because we know how lethal he is. But the injury that he sustained and the way he grabbed his leg and how eerily similar it looked to Kevin Durant with his calf and what have you, that's what has me worried about Anthony Davis. They say he's going to come back. I'm almost of the mindset that I'll believe it when I see it. And not only that, remember, the word is out. They're going to get physical with him. And there are teams in the Western Conference in position to get physical with him, especially Denver. When you think about the pickup of Aaron Gordon, and obviously with the Joker, with Jamal Murray and Barton to be back this year. He is back, but I'm saying he wasn't in the bubble play last year. When you consider the weapons that they have available to them, Denver is going to be incredibly, incredibly formidable. We see Utah. We know that. The Phoenix Suns have arrived. They are here, and you're going to have to deal with them. And so I think that because of the road, it's going to require the health of Anthony Davis to be right there, to be relatively pristine. It can't be a situation where he's walking around at 60, 70% or whatever, and he's being a bit tentative. No, he's going to have to bring his A game in order for them to get out of the Western Conference. That's my concern. I'm not saying that he's going to be injured max and he can't play at all. My concern is that I think that he needs to be better than 75% in order for the Lakers to get out of the Western Conference. And that's my concern.
50, 60%, you're right. And you're right to be concerned because of the nature of the injury. The calf bone's connected to the Achilles bone, as we've found out, right? I'll say this, though. They didn't used to have Andre Drummond. And that man is like, whatever you want to think about a fit, whatever, he's better than an average starting center. He's a high-quality starting center, starting 5. And before they had Drummond, AD is best at the 5 on this team. Are we sure that's still the case? Because you talk about getting physical with him, but if he's playing the 4, that might be less of a concern, especially the way AD was shooting it this